I'm doing a bit of a longer video here. It's going to be a good half hour, people, but it's worth millions of dollars to millions of people, the information I am about to provide. Canadian real estate greed and corruption made legal by secret filing in Ontario and every province but Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And more on that later. Please share. I'm begging of you. I have been fighting for over 3 years, and it cost me everything, my life savings, and made me homeless to try to get rights for you. And the media has, national media has completely ignored the situation. One by one, I've sent out to small newspapers hoping that somebody, somewhere, someday, one editor will care. But people have a right to know the truth. Roland, my mother, 98, died with a broken heart, and I, Trudy, 76, with severe disabilities and Parkinsonism, was robbed of my home, our properties, land, and income from the properties, fraud by my brother, then more fraud by someone who pretended to help me while I was incapacitated with a tumor and my mother was dying, and then cheated by my lawyer, $70,000, and made homeless. Completely heartless. Trent's treachery cost me everything, and it can happen to anyone because our laws make property theft and fraud legal. What Trent did is demonic. That's the lawyer. Why he would do that? I paid him to do a job, and he seemed to care. All right, I call me naive, but I really think he cared. And then all of a sudden he turned into this monster and he fired me. But here's the thing, people. You just don't get it that in Ontario and every province in Canada, except for the 3 I mentioned, anyone can steal your property in secret, put their name on title in secret, commit fraud in secret, put a mortgage in secret, sever joint tenancy in secret, and it's legal. This causes the loss of your homes, and each person fights alone, helpless, like beached whales. Well, naively, I tried to change that by fighting the law. I researched over 100 years of property theft. Nobody bothered to go after the law. So it made sense to me. And Trent Faldeen assured me that he knew how to do this under Section 7 of the Charter of Rights. Only, yes, he did know how to do it, and he could have done it. I don't know why, and I'm not going to pretend to understand what he did to me. But what really matters to me is I don't care about being homeless. I do care that he took $70,000 of my money and my expertise and my experience, and I helped him turn it into a thriving business. And that demonic monster, that heartless creep, canceled, closed my file, so that I have no chance of doing anything. I lose the case by default. I lose everything, including the case against my brother. Secret filing on property goes back to Roman times and has no place in a democratic society. It was banned in England in 1925. In the United States, well, I don't know if it was ever there, because that is a democracy and they don't have it. And in Europe and every other country, it's banned but Canada. Canada is a dangerous place to either buy property or invest in, except for the 3 provinces that banned secret filing. Alberta banned it in 1985, Manitoba in 1988, and in 1989, Saskatchewan has by far the best protection for registered owners. It is almost impossible to commit fraud in Saskatchewan. It's almost impossible to steal your land or rob a spouse of their matrimonial home, because they have so much protection in the law and so much requirement of notices and consent and so on and so forth, that pretty hard to do it in Saskatchewan since 1989. Of course, before that, it was done plenty of times. And Ontario is by far the worst. Ontario makes fraud and property theft absolutely legal because our court system is so corrupt, by the time you discover the truth, it's too late. And you'll spend tens of thousands of dollars with a lawyer and never get justice. And that's what happened to my mother, who died with a broken heart, and me at 76. I was made homeless. Anyone could put their name on title to your home and property in secret without you as a registered owner ever being notified. And that's the truth. Anyone can sever joint tenancy on any of your properties, including your matrimonial home, in secret without you as a spouse ever being notified. And that's the truth. I tried to get secret filing banned and came so close. 4 years of research, and I did most of it. Trent only did a small portion of what I did. And most of my savings to gather the evidence, to file an affidavit against the Ontario government, which would have gone to the Supreme Court, which would have given the right to notification to every Canadian coast to coast. And that bastard fired me and refused to finish the job, took the money and just closed me down like I was trash. Despite being homeless, severely handicapped with Parkinsonism disease in honor of my dead mother, I willingly gave him that money to file an affidavit to get rights for you. And he promised my dying mother that no matter what would happen, he would never abandon us, that he would always fight for our rights. Suddenly, when I began to run out of money, he fired me. He took offense to my being upset that the government was costing me so much money. Okay, I got upset. I'm homeless, people. I had to move in with my boyfriend. Well, okay, that's very nice. I'm not sleeping in my car like happened to be in 1984 when I lost my home because of my disease not being legally recognized. But that doesn't make it any different. I'm still homeless, and all that money's gone, and over $1 million in investments and properties are gone. So don't say to me I'm okay. Yeah, that's what he flippantly said. Well, you're okay. You're with Dan. Yeah, okay. I'm not dead. But that doesn't make it okay. He turned on me like a callous monster, knowing it would sabotage both my cases. It didn't even cross his mind that millions of people are now not going to get human rights. And he could have done it. He could have done it. Yeah, I'm screaming. He accused me of being angry one time. I wasn't angry. I was scared. He was sitting doing all these criminal cases and doing everything and putting me on the back burner, and I'm putting out all this money. And it's 3 years later, and I was getting scared because everything that I'm fighting for hinged on this affidavit getting filed within a proper length of time. And he procrastinated, and I wasn't even getting angry at him. I was angry with the government putting me through this. Why should I have to spend all my money to get rights for you? And the media. No public support, no people support, no media support. And I'm doing this all by myself for your sake. And yeah, I got upset. Excuse me, I had a right to get upset. So I have 2 cases. One is the Ontario government to ban secret filing, and 2 is the fraud against my brother who stole title to our home, embezzled estate funds, committed income tax fraud, and it was all made legal because a direct result of secret filing, without our ever as registered owners as ever being notified of anything. Yeah, that's legal in Canada. So yeah, fraud and corruption in Canada is legal. There's no federal law against it. Except for those 3 provinces, that's it, you're screwed. How can anyone take the life savings of a handicapped homeless senior at 76 like me, grieving the loss of my mother and home, and deliberately cause me to lose everything? I don't know. He'll have to answer to God on that one. He just fired me knowing what it would do to me. It was like some kind of vengeance. I became his enemy, and boy, he's going to get even with me for a crime I didn't commit. That's pretty sick, people. I think he's sick. He's on some kind of sick cookies. But what he did was guaranteed me to lose both cases by default. He knew I had neither the health nor the money to start all over again. And at first I fell apart. I tried to kill myself. I was so devastated. My boyfriend, Dan McIsaac, with 30 years, stopped me with brute force, and he locked me in my bedroom until I could come to my senses. And he just kept saying to me that there's got to be another way. Well, I don't know. I've tried. Media just doesn't care, but I'm doing it again. Then in a vision, I kept seeing all those millions of Canadians, that's you people out there, in jeopardy of losing your homes, and that fighting for fundamental human rights to ban secret filing was a cause worth fighting for. Slowly, barely able to function, I worked day and sleepless nights, typing, begging by email, wrote and mailed over 50 advocacy groups and lawyers, coast to coast, members of Parliament, Premier of Ontario, Prime Minister, and they all refused to help me. So I can't get a lawyer, and I can't fight, and I can't do anything. I'm really screwed. But that means you're screwed, people. You're screwed, not just me. I don't count. But millions of you are in the same position I'm in, or will be. Or your children will be, unless something is done. Yeah, I'll continue now to fight until I die to get secret filing banned, to get the world to know the truth. I'll put it up on YouTube like I'm doing now. You won't share it. You never do. Nobody gives a damn. But I'll just keep doing it. One day at a time, I'll send out to little newspapers. I just sent one to the Ontario Farmers Press. Because people don't know this is within the law, that you can legally be robbed of your property. So I just got to keep putting it out there. And one of these days, pray to God that some editor has a heart and cares and says, hey, wait a minute, this is a bit much. But I tried and failed. So my only option is to keep attacking the real estate investment market, because some of the brokers do care. And I'll just keep putting it out like I'm doing today. But if you don't share it, it's going nowhere. Of course, seniors and women are the most vulnerable, and I couldn't even get the feminists to care. My mother was married 61 years to a violent, abusive monster. And that was her reward. She died with a broken heart. And I lost everything. If an American buys property here, they have no protection either, so get real, people. But very interesting, if you're Russian and you buy land in Canada, the federal law does not allow for secret filing. It is only legal if you're a Canadian or an American. Welcome to greed and corruption Canadian style. I put this out on some of my websites, which I will type on the YouTube later. As for my lawyer, my mother and I worship Trent Faldeen as our hero savior. I guess the moral is this part of my story. Never worship anything born on the planet. I have a picture of my mother a few weeks before she died. Copies of all evidence are available by request. Email me. I'll put that on my YouTube notes. Google Docs, I also have it on Google Docs. I can share it with anybody on Google Docs, but I can't upload the letters. The trust ledger proving $60,000 that I gave to Trent is available. I've got all the evidence, all the proof. The pro bono $10,000 I gave him for the Curry case to stop police brutality is separate, and I don't take an issue with that. Picture and house are part of properties I lost due to fraud and secret filing, and I was made homeless by Trent's treachery. How could you wind up losing your home and then try to get human rights for all Canadians by spending your life savings and then lose your case because the lawyer turns into a monster and fires you without doing the job you paid him for? I'm just an old woman nobody cares about, and I'm not very important. But millions of Canadians are important, and they are all in jeopardy. Please, I'm begging you, share my story, expose the truth. People have the right to know. In sharing, perhaps you can save others, which would make the suffering I endure worth it. And I don't know what else I can tell you, people. I don't know what it's going to take to get this story out. I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, you would think that the law that allows for fraud would be worth a story worth publishing, and nobody cares. And now, my lawyer, he becomes part of that treachery. It's so insane. He's brilliant. He could have done it. But for whatever reason, in his delusional brain, it made him feel good to cut me loose and fire me. And he knows that that means everything is lost. I've lost it all. I gave up all my furniture to the St. Vincent de Paul. I gave away prized possessions to people that I care about. And I'm squashed. And I'm going to show you the apartment. Yes, Dan moved me into this apartment. He cleared out a bedroom for me. And my computers are here. And my TV, and I'm in one room. I'll never be able to sew again, my hobby. No. It's just, that's it. This is my life. And I've got some of my clothes stuffed in a back. It's not really a bedroom, it's a half a room. It's just I'm stuffed. We crashed, we did. And my files, all my research files. Yeah. I've kept everything. I've got all the evidence. So if anybody really wants to ever publish the story, don't say to me I don't have the evidence, because by God's, I've got the evidence. I just pray to God that I can get the public to care and the media to help me get the law changed. Ban secret filing. It's a travesty of justice. Ban secret filing in Canada.